Well, hi. Hi, hello. Hopefully you didn't wait too long. Man, I don't even. Tracer decided to wake up today and be a menace, like completely. Mm, yeah, she lost the bed privileges, and when she stops hiding, she's probably gonna go to the naughty corner or bathroom, I guess. Mind you, I'm not. It's not me like closing her door or anything. It's just she knows she goes on her own. She just hides. Because, oh no, I did a bad thing. Yes, you did a fucking bad thing. I am too sick to have to like scrub floors first thing in the morning. But hey, we did it. I survived barely. Okay. I survived barely, and now we're just gonna take it easy and do some sim stuff. It's gonna be a little bit of a shorter stream because, again, I'm not feeling too hot right now. I'm sure I'm gonna feel better a little later, but like the bending and the scrubbing on my body, nope. At least not when I wake up because you know, you know how it goes. Dogos. Oh man. Yeah, basically she decided to. Um, she decided to spread the trash over the kitchen because, of course, she did. And so, yeah. She got mad that Blue went to work today, basically. And then she got mad probably because I overslept. But I was. I joined a new Minecraft world yesterday, okay? So I kind of lost track of time and I went to sleep at 6 a.m. Um, okay, maybe 6:30. Maybe 6:30. Mm. Yeah, yeah. That's what I said when I noticed the clock. It's like, oh, Seb, no. Bruh, I did. Okay, it was around 1 a.m. And I tell to Blaine, like, yeah, we can do a small session, right? We've been not able to play stuff for a while because of his schedule or my schedule. So, like, yeah, we can play some Raft. And then we start playing Raft. And he's like, hey, my friend opened new realms. Like, want to do a little bit of that instead because, it's Minecraft. We can stop whenever. So it doesn't really matter. It's not like Raft. If we're on Raft, we have to, like, finish our things. Like, we can stop whenever. Like, sure, yeah, we can stop whenever. uh, yeah. I built the first floor of my base and the beginnings of a storage. So there's that. Uh-huh. No, to you, I'm not speaking. Don't look at me like that. Yes, go into the bathroom. um, Trey Shower's like, oh, you talking to me? No, no, I'm not talking to her. I'm mad at her. I get it. She's upset that Blue has to go to work more often, but that's not the bathroom, Tracer. But it's. Uh, you know what? I forgot. I got up very thirsty. I just drank the last of my tea that I prepared. It's okay. I have coffee. I'm gonna hydrate with coffee for the first half an hour. Mm, then I'm gonna get up to get something because I need to. I need to wake up. Hmm. I kind of really want to play with this household. But no, we're not playing with households in this world. Hmm. Also, after we do the land grab, we're definitely doing Johnny's Est. Their renegade son. Or, wait, is that how you say it? I don't know. No, no, no. He's not in Stranger Will. Seb, please. Oh, yeah, we have builds here. Yeah, I think this was usually his lot. Hmm. I guess I can't show you, huh? Because I built it literally every. And also, I'm unsure about these apartments. Like, I changed these apartments so many times. But I fucking love this market. Let me show off my market a little bit while I wake up. Lava girl? No. I don't know what I said. Anymore? Oh, oh. Wait, they got land grab? Nice. Yeah. Like, elements of these apartments look fun. Elements of them, okay? Um, I don't know. I just don't think they blend. Like, these ones over there, they're kind of shitty, simple apartments. I love them. They look great. Those were one of the first ones I built. But yes, let me show you my first shopping square that made me fall in love with shopping. It's kind of based around Croatian coastal cities because we have like these structures that go like you would have one level in Šibenik, for example. You would have one level, and then you would have like these upper levels. On some, they are like just walkways, and then you would have like more like apartments or shops and stuff. But here, I just decided to go with like a little market straight on top. But I don't know. It really reminds me of Croatian coastline, and I'm in love with this build. I spent like days on this, and I'm pretty sure I showed it off on stream already. Mm, yeah, I was really nostalgic of like Shibanik and stuff when I was building this, which I think it shows. And by the way, Shibanik is one of the places where apparently what's the name? Game of Thrones. Yes, Game of Thrones was filmed. It was pretty cool. It's pretty interesting because I finally watched Game of Thrones. So it's pretty interesting to see, like, wait, I know this place. Wait, I've been here. Yeah. I think this build is actually pretty much complete. I have nothing to do here. Because, okay, so the top floor obviously like little stalls, little like food corners and relaxation corners. I don't know. But here we do have actual, stores. We have like a little library going on. We have a little tech store. We have like daycare type thing. But it's not really like a daycare. Um, in Croatia, you would usually find this in the malls, but sometimes you can find it around like this as well. Where it's just like a place where you can leave your children for like 2-3 hours, usually for free even. But yeah, you would leave your children, to play while you go do shop and stuff. I don't know. I love those places. I loved those places when I was a kid as well. Uh, I'm not sure if that's like a common thing outside. Oh wait, we didn't do everything. This is like a more fancy clothing shop. We have little, well, we call them slastečárna. I think in France that would be, I forgot. It's not boulangerie, it's something else. I'm not sure English have the word for it. And here we have like a little music shop, which, I don't know. A lot of the things look very authentic. And a little coffee shop, another. Well, this one is more boulangerie, right? And then we have like the kids' clothing shop and the pet salon, which I tried to do the best I can with the pet salon. Um, the grooming station, the bath, the shower stuff. Oh, and of course, it wouldn't be complete without the little like tobacco kiosk type thing, which is just like a tiny version of a general store without the general items. I think out of all builds I made, this one is definitely my favorite. Yeah, classic picnic. And it fits so well in this silly desert world. Okay, the more I look at it, like this build does not fit at all, like the one in the background. Again, I like elements of that build, but no, as a whole, it's just no. I think that one will get bulldozed. And we'll do something else. In these apartments that we have to furnish. But yes, I guess we're going back to our land grabs. But I learned this time. We're gonna start small, okay? We're gonna start with servant quarters. Because, before we go there, last time we made the first part of their staff. We have Patrick Young. He is, well, one of the maids. She is a main maid, I guess, or something. Second hand to the butler, Lexi Schmidt. Um. Oh wait, Lexi is also a horse lover. Why is she a horse lover? I don't know. But yeah, she's a horse lover, Nathan skeptical. And then we have our horse girly. She takes care of their horse. Kona Smith. She's an alien because I can't make a whole ass like household with multiple households without like at least one occult, you know. And also Carrie Rockwell. She is their dog trainer. She takes care of the doge, and I don't know. She has such main character vibes. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna start with their area, which their rooms are just small rooms, but I don't know. I feel like we can personalize them pretty well, and then we have. Okay, so cook, mixologist, and gardener. Okay, camera, that was weird. They're the ones that we still have to make, and obviously the butler they're gonna hire and put down there, and then one of the rooms, some things goes to the pool boy that's already in their household. I'm thinking like this one could go to the pool boy. Although I will have to check about the pool boy. Is it really a pool boy? So yeah. Where is the pool again? The pool is here. Yeah, the pool I broke all of the game rules for. Man, so I made all of this, right? This wasn't accessible before, by the way. I made all of this, and then I realized, oh, they can't enter the pool. Like, it looks awesome, but they can't enter the pool. So I don't remember what was here, but we had to clear it, and I just put the ladder. You can see that the ladder is like such a second thought on all of this. Yeah. I mean, technically, like, you should be able to come in from the jacuzzi, or, you know, okay, maybe not over the bar. I don't know. But yeah, the windows are kind of underwater, and it's cool. Because also, if you go down a level, like, yeah, this is a flowy water. Like, the water flows from here. So that was my attempt. Also, I think we need to. No, I think I did this base on purpose. Because it fits. But yeah, so like the idea is that the water is kind of falling from here. I don't even know where I grabbed this waterfall thing is from. I have no idea. But yeah, this will flow in game. This house will be so laggy if you don't have a good PC. I think splitting it into quote unquote apartments will be good. Because basically we will split the rooms. So these four rooms will be one thing, and then these three rooms will be another thing, and then everything else will be shared, except like this room and this room will go to the Landgraf households. Mm. And obviously all of the like bedrooms will go into the household. including some of the toilets that are en suite like this. Because that way, all of the households will have main areas accessible, so it is gonna be possible for people to play as, you know, the maid or the gardener, or I don't know. It is so scary. Like I don't like I built this and I was pretty confident. Like yeah, I decorated all of this and that was nice. That was easy. But what do you do with all of this empty space? I mean, we're gonna put some paintings, sure, but like, there's so much empty space. Like, we turned the whole room into a fucking cinema. This is not a small cinema. Like, you can fit 18 people in here. 18 people watching a film. It's crazy. And the karaoke room. I want the karaoke room. But what do I do with like this? I have to do something with this. What my sister told me to do with stuff is just add seating areas. Seating areas everywhere. Like, you don't know what to place? Seating area. I mean, honestly, in a house this big, yeah, I guess you would need many sitting areas.
Chug,
Yeah,
chug,
thank you for
chug.
stepping
Thank
by.
you, Pocket Broto, for keeping Seb hydrated.
I am hydrating with hydration stuff. And I'm stretching. Okay, good luck with your works. Thank you for the lurks. I really appreciate it. Yeah, stretch was good. I did stretch, like, when I woke up, but it wasn't enough. So yeah. You know, if we manage to actually furnish and decorate this year, I will be so proud. Well, the year just started, but I will be so proud of us if we manage. So we do have a garden here, right? And I want to leave 2 or 3 space wide to pass. But this part, I remember clearly was supposed to be for the TV. I just need to figure out how we go about it. Maybe like with this one. I want to leave it like a little up front, but I can sneak away like an old console in here. But yeah, this will have to be white. Or, yeah, we don't have gray. We have different wood colors. I mean, we kind of have like black and gray, but maybe that works better. Maybe. Oh. I just put 1B. Yeah, I think that's gonna be okay. I do want to put like something else small under there. Maybe not that. Let's see what we have from Clutter. Blah 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 blah. Decorations, yes. There, a little magazine stack, just so it's not completely empty. And like the table will go, the lamp goes here, so the table could go here. The question is which one? Because there are many. Logically, it would be this one, right? Because it matches the thing. I don't think we want to put like any wood tones in here. But maybe. That's for some reason too blue. Oh, maybe this. Well, that has more mid-century modern vibes. I believe I'm using that correctly. I watched a lot of Little Simsy, okay? I totally know what I'm doing. I have to mute when I cough because nobody wants to be hearing coughs, I think. This maybe looks a little too cozy. It's something I would put in my builds usually, but we need clean and polished and stuff. Like that. Do you come in a nice gray? Ooh, or this one actually. That matches with everything else, but not with this. The egg sofa. The egg sofa is potential. We're gonna put it here. But perhaps just like that? Yeah, I feel like that is more... It's more the vibes. And with that we can also attempt like this. No. And that one doesn't work as well. Although we do have different Dream Home Decorator chairs as well. Just may find them. Aha. Sneaky little chair, I found you. They have like a lot of stuff, so I think I'll move this like that. So most of the staff can like relax here and have their pastime, I guess. These stairs are so extra and I love them. But this sure was a lot to like organize. And so they're dining. These tables are atrocious. Well, they're not. They're good tables, but not the ones we want here. See, I love these tables on the surface, but then I see like this, like fifth and sixth leg in the middle, and I'm like, nope, I don't want that. Oh, but maybe. Perhaps something to consider is these tables. Maybe not in black necessarily though. White and silver perhaps. Yeah. I will space them out a little bit. Like so. I think it goes like one further than we anticipated, but it's fine. Because only 2 is too short, and we only have like the 2 slot one. And I'm guessing we could go with these chairs, perhaps. Maybe I could just make it like this without like these chairs. So if we have 4, we have 8 sims. Oh yeah. Well, 9 if we consider the butler. So this should be more than enough chairs. Is it too much if we put like 3 fun paintings here? I really love these paintings, and I don't think there's any other place we can put them. No, I think 3 will be fine, especially if we put this in the corner. Let me just find it. I know exactly what I'm searching for, and I think I missed it. All of these are like fun too. But perhaps they're a little too fun. Then again, I don't think Nancy would ever visit servant quarters. Except for specific activities, so maybe she would. Maybe like everyone is pissed at this one guy because he brings Nancy into the area that's supposed to be their own, kinda. But yeah, if I put like these plants here, yeah, I think that can work. And we put them in black and white. Yeah, see, that already it looks like more lived in. There's still like a lot of empty room here. I think I want to put paintings on this wall for sure. Which ones, I'm unsure. I love the cozy bistro ones, but I feel that they don't really suit this environment. Oh, but maybe. I think I'll leave these for the upstairs. Oh. Those also for the upstairs. This one is like super fun. Maybe we can put this one like in this hallway. Maybe we can put them in multiple colors. Maybe not. They're too similar. This one is kind of too small. Perhaps we can put it here. I do love that one. Ooh. Maybe this in the hallway here? I'm not sure if I want to leave it blue. And then again, this one is like not super visible here. Yeah, maybe we do leave it. Just move it one down. think that's fine. Maybe we do put more lights in the hallway as well. So like we can put... We could just go for like these little dots. Over here and perhaps over here. And then in front of these doors too. And that way this corner still stays a little cozy, but this... Yeah, already has better vision. But now that I'm thinking this perhaps is better. Okay, 2 pictures that are the same size but not the same image. Whoa. Maybe a little too big. And also maybe something more suitable for upstairs. Oh, maybe. I haven't considered the New Life and Death paintings. These are fucking amazing. Maybe not as colorful. Like... Maybe not. Maybe we just do like some scenery. Like that perhaps. Like this is all of the places you can't afford to visit. But yeah, then we can move that in someone's room, perhaps, and we could do this one over here. Yeah, I think that will do. Like it's nothing too fancy, but it is fucking fancy, okay. Okay, carpets. I think we desperately need more carpets in this game. You don't want to just have like this one? Is that too fancy? For servants' quarters? Staff quarters? Maybe this? Oh yeah, maybe this actually. It's more contrasty. Brings a little bit of warmth into this cold space. What else do we put in there? Because, like, do we really leave it just at that? Maybe. minimalism and all that. Hmm. Perhaps what we want to do here is this. We can like put it here. I desperately want to put more greenery here. Like, desperately. These are not high enough. At least with like more greenery, it elevated the place a little bit. Oops. Yeah, no, that's not the worst. Hmm. No, definitely. Mm. Yeah, that's like a little more. Like I could put them inside, but uh, I feel like inside is already probably good enough. It basically is just this area that matters because they can enter this, not the upper skylight things. So basically, they do get sunlight here because it goes all the way up. And I feel like the gardener here would make sure that everything is like nice and tidy and green all the time, just to like elevate their space a little bit so they're not as depressed. Nico, hi, hello. How are you doing this morning? I hope you had some good sleeps last night. I did come back like pretty fast, but you already rated out. So I'm sorry I didn't manage to say bye. I'm not speaking to you, Tracer. Hmm? Tracer, by the way, for context is my dog. She did a bath today. Hmm? She apparently can't handle that my girlfriend is working. And I did wake up kinda late. So when I woke up, I had to clean the trash she decided to spread all over the kitchen. So that was my morning. She gets mad and she does that. She's really spoiled and entitled. That's my fault. She loves all of the attention. And if she's not getting all of the attention, especially like if her humans leave her the audacity, she does stuff like that. I mean, I get it. I get it. But man, is it annoying to wake up and have to clean everything. I feel like this painting is good in this room. We can make this for the dog trainer. Oh yeah, also I'm currently working on the mansion for land grabs. Not sure how familiar you are with Sims lore, but they're like basically always the richest family. A lot of nepo babies and stuff. And this is their staff quarters or servant quarters, if you wish. This is gonna be their kitchen. This is the bedrooms for maids and their horse caretaker and then their dog caretaker. And we have gardener and the pool boy that go here. Mixologist and the cook that will probably go in these two rooms, and then this one is reserved for their butler. And it's a very scary thing to need to decorate because this is their basement. Just their basement with like their gym equipment and spa equipment. This is their main floor. Last time we did the kitchen, I think it's a little bit too cluttered, but I don't know. I like it. Maybe they wanted the kitchen to feel like lived in, and this is their like dining area with a little buffet table and stuff. Then you have the pool area that I broke several of the game rules to make it happen. Mm, I still need to furnish like this as well. They have obviously a garage, a big one, a little party area. This is their horse stable, and it is the fanciest fucking stable ever. That has like a little oh god, where's living lofted area? Yes, little lofted area for Nancy's daughter. They have obviously their own cinema because of course they do. With the little pre-cinema area, with like their popcorns and ice creams and some hot beverages and stuff. This is their dog's room. So specifically for their one singular dog. They have a karaoke room because of course they do. They have a little lounge terrace, loft terrace. I don't know how you call that. Party terrace. But basically with like a huge bar, a bong obviously, a little jacuzzi. You know, this I haven't still decided what to do with that. This is just a hallway. So yeah. Then even more up, you have their son's bedroom with obviously his own like little terrace, his own like little living area, bed, a study. I think that's pretty much like completely decorated. His walk-in closet and his bathroom and the toilets that are not done yet. And this is their daughter's area. She doesn't have a walk-in closet, but she does have her own personal little cinema thing. So, speaking of, she doesn't have a closet. Interesting, interesting choice on my part. I guess we'll have to fix that up. And then, like, more of the kid stuff. Don't know what we're gonna do here. And then we have our top floor with the main bedroom, which is fucking huge. I don't know what to do with that. The main walk-in closet. Also not sure what to do with that. Their bedroom, not bedroom, oh my god, bathroom. Their personal little hallway between them and the rest of the world. This is Jeffrey's office. And then they have 2 guest bedrooms over here. That's obviously each of them has ensuite bathroom as well. That's pretty much it, actually. So it's a pretty fucking massive build, which I'm not usually comfortable with massive builds, so we're struggling with this. It's yeah, it's something. It's kind of in the hills, like Hollywood Hills or something. Also, I'm not really like too comfortable with modern builds either, but I think we managed to make it presentable. There's obviously a lot of windows because yes. But yeah, that's what we have. Totally not the scariest build ever. But I'm confident that eventually we'll manage to finish this. If we manage to finish it this year, I'll be so fucking proud of myself. So what we're doing here is a remake of everything in The Sims. Like every lot rebuilt, all Simses, all Sims, remodeled. Well, not necessarily remodeled, like updated with stuff from packs and. Yeah. Okay, after we tackle this, we're gonna tackle the house of their estranged son. Yes, that's the word, estranged. That's the word I was looking for earlier. Yeah. Very daunting, but pretty cool, I think. And now we can go back to the basement. But yeah, as Boruto famously said, I want to beat this family's dog because just like the dog's room is everything. Like the dog has its own little kitchen and like a fancy bed to sleep on. Ironically, okay, see these beds? Like these beds? The dog's bed. Arguably a fancier version of that. And also the dog obviously has its own fish because of course it does. And the little fireplace and the little TV. Honestly, I think the dog's room is my favorite in this build. You just know that dog is so fucking spoiled. You just know. Yeah. Back to the Seren's quarters. We did some greenery like around here. I think that's nice. We have fake windows. Uh, yeah, I know you from Blaine. I followed you from Blaine's stream once upon a time when you were playing together. But yeah, so not even Pocket Proto, but Blaine. To be fair though, a lot of people don't know who I am on Twitch because I have a lot of different handles on Discord and stuff as well. So like just the other day, I raided Hellscythe. I think no, or I just stopped by on Hellscythe streams. Yes, I didn't raid. I think I just stopped by, and he was really nice to meet me. And but I've known him for years now. And it's not like we didn't talk like on other servers, but like my username is different, so I keep forgetting that. Like I come in there like, yeah, I know this person for 2 years. I can talk to them. And then it's like, oh yeah, they don't know who I am because my handle is different. I'm thinking I kind of want to like change the bed, but no, the bed and the thing has to stay the same. We just need to update other stuff with funky stuff. Oh, I feel you on that for sure. I feel you on that. Too many servers. And like I want to be in everyone's server, but keeping track of people in those servers is always tricky. I think she needs some fun curtains. Like perhaps even these with little like badgers, bears, whatever they are, bears. I think. Oh God. Mm. Oh, or maybe these. Oh yeah, she could do with these. Maybe like something in blue. Oh yeah, that definitely feels like more like her. Mm. Oh, the voice is low. I'm so sorry. I tend to move away from the mic when I'm on mouse and keyboard. I could, I could try to up my volume on the mixer. Give me a sec. If I remember how to use my mixer. Oops. Is this any better? Like this. Yeah, I just slightly turned up some knobs. Man, I need to sort out my stuff. Oh, yeah, there is white. Yeah, I think I'll add like these bunch of blue colors in here. Maybe like a painting over here and then something over here as well. Because we need to try and make this room as fun as possible without touching the bed or this horrendous light. Maybe with these. No, not these. Oh wait, I know exactly which ones. These ones. They're so cute. And then like we leave this area for whoever plays with this. They can put some personal pictures here. I know she already has a fluffy rug, but I'm thinking we can put a fun rug in. Like something like that. But maybe in like blues. Yeah, this already feels like way more personalized. But now I want to like fill this as well. It's fine. We don't have to fill every single corner of the thing. It is a huge build. Oh, maybe we give her like... maybe, but on the nightstand. We can give her some fun nightstands. Maybe not in blue. What if in white? Or this? Yeah, I like the idea that she's trying to like put some color in. And maybe we give her a bookshelf here and a little plant. All of the corner fillers. Is this... no. I'm trying to move away from my usual plant in every corner. But to be fair, if I don't know what to put, I will still put plant in every corner. That's... yeah. Oh no, that doesn't match at all. We can maybe do this one. And like... that like really doesn't match. But it doesn't matter. Like, she is filling all this on her own, so... that's not land grab stuff. Oh, I built a whole mansion, a haunted mansion. The first thing I built, I didn't save it yet to the gallery. It's in my it's in a different save, but I'm so proud of it. Maybe I show it off later before we end. Do I want to leave this one? I don't know. You probably don't want to screw things into somewhere that you're not sure you're gonna stay. So perhaps like this. Maybe like that's better. In this corner. Yeah, that's some fun colors. And then in this color corner, you can put like some puff pillows to sit on. Like that. And you should be able to sit on them. And then behind it we can actually tuck in a plant. Which plant is a question though? Yes, but no. Let me see. Because thankfully we're getting more and more plants in this game. No, this one is maybe a little much. Oh, like this perhaps. And maybe something smaller too. That's not smaller. Like that? Yeah. And then maybe we can put this on this corner. I do want to do something in this corner, but maybe I should just put like a mirror here. Like a fun little mirror. That's too high. That's kind of low, but we can raise it up. Like that, perhaps. Yeah, that definitely feels more personalized. Reminder, we started with this. I think we definitely need some more clutter in here. Maybe I put like some more little clutter in the corners. Like that, perhaps some of these boxes. I love how this is called the snack pack, but these are just like medicines. It's like a little medicine box. Maybe more fun color for these. No, that feels personalized. Should I maybe add some throw pillows on her bed? Like it's not ideal, but it's more color. Maybe we can add, oh, a little dog statue. Perhaps not here. Perhaps, oops. Okay, here it would block the TV. Oh, but it can totally go on top of the shelf here. Like that. And some like old games. Anyway, looking back on this, because this is all the way from a few years back when we got the basement clutter. This little heart thing, like these little cards, were definitely a nod to the Lovestruck pack, which no one picked up on because, well, nobody expected the Lovestruck pack. Alright, can these flowers fit on the shelf here? Yes, but not well. Okay. Oh, they can fit here really well. And I definitely want to put like a little table lamp here. Well, nightlight or whatever. This one is cute, but it's a little big next to this. Nope. And this one cuts into this as well. Do you want maybe like this? And that actually works surprisingly well. And the way to remember that it's a dog trainer's room. I think we need to put like a little ball in here. There. Yeah, I think that works out well for this room. I don't think we need to touch it anymore. It's cute, personalized. Landgrabs can say nothing about it. Okay. I'm thinking... she should be next to the horse trainer or their personal rancher. Yeah, anyway. I don't know if I want to give her to. She's an alien though, so we should put some alien-esque stuff in. I think she would definitely like go with these curtains probably. Maybe these like pink ones. Obviously this is very fake, outside. We have like little clouds. And this wallpaper is animated actually and glowing in live mode. So it is a very well made outside, fake outside. From the point of Sims, obviously. I definitely want to. Oh my god, I moved myself to cough and my voice is still like that. Okay. Um, I think we definitely want to make it like more horse girly themed. Oh, and those are big. I think we're gonna put that over her bed. And suddenly we don't have access to the horse thingies here. There's not actually a lot of horse related clutter. And that is not for the stables. There is like some super pretty paintings and stuff. No, on this side should be fine. And I think I'll give her 2 nightstands. Okay, we're done with Horse Orange exclusive stuff because it just wasn't gonna work. Okay, I'm gonna give her 2 tables here. And on one of them, we're gonna put these new books. Like these ones. From Cozy Kitsch. Speaking of Cozy Kitsch. Yeah, they have these cute puffs. Like for sitting. So maybe we can give her that. And maybe she's like pretty new in here, so she doesn't have as much things yet. Perhaps. Oh wait, we could totally give her these little plants. Hmm. And perhaps some little candles over here as a nightlight. Let's find her a fun carpet. Oh, that's a big one. But I do feel like it matches pretty well. Yeah. Part of me thinks that's kinda enough. But I don't know. Maybe we need something else here on the counter. Hmm. Maybe like little post-it notes. For I have no idea what reason. I don't know, wait, maybe. Wait a second. Please fit there. Hmm. No, it doesn't want to fit there. Oh, but we can put like a little ball of yarn here. Maybe she's like knitting and crocheting in her free time. Like theoretically, we should be able to put some stuff on like little shelves here. Not that apparently. It would be cute if we could. We could though put it over here perhaps, like that. Just in the corner. Maybe it doesn't fit well in that corner. No, it's okay. We can just have the thing here. Okay. Definitely personalized. Now to the next two rooms. Well, this is gonna be the main, the second hand to butler. Technically, maybe it would be better to put her like there, but I feel like they come and go a lot. Let's first do the second maid. I feel like he'd definitely want to have some fancy accents. He could also have a TV in his room. Maybe not the console. I feel like if anyone, he would go with gold accents for stuff. So perhaps this plant wouldn't be out of place here. And there was like a wall plant. Lol. It is a sign. It is definitely a sign. I can't argue with that sign. Haha, found the plant. Oh, that's actually so tiny. I thought it was bigger. So maybe we don't want that plant particularly. That oh. I mean, I can see it. I can see it happening. This boat fits and not. I hate it. Maybe just like that. Ooh, or the glowing one. Oh yeah, the glowing one would be better. Maybe put like a little blue glow. Although I would consider not doing it for 12 hours, by the way. Maybe like 6 hours. Bro to playing League. I'm not sure I can moderate 12 hours of League of Legends. It would make me want to play. Hmm. I don't have like the good bronzish color that matches this. Oh, no, maybe I do. Never mind. Okay, so let's do those. But now I feel like this mirror really doesn't match. Okay, we need a new mirror. We need a better mirror. Oh, this is a better mirror. Like it's just the lean on one, but it's better. And maybe we do the darker thing. Yeah. Healing of Legends. Listen, once you play it, it's really hard not to spiral back into it. It's a specific kind of addiction. Especially after you watch Arcane, and then you're like, oh no, I have to play it again. Completely missing the point that Arcane and League of Legends are not the same thing at all. Honestly, I'm really happy for you because I have it installed. I always have it installed, and it's almost always up to date. I didn't play in years, but it's always there, you know. And every day I go without it, it's another little victory. But I'm afraid those days are getting short. What else would you put in like semi fancy bedroom? Like this seems just like very blank. No. I feel like one singular plant would be more than enough in this case. I think we're gonna put a bookshelf. Why is it always a bookshelf? I need to find other ways of decorating corners. Oh no, that's too warm of a white. Why can't they just make swatches that match? Please. I guess we can do the new one. The new one is pretty nice. And it does match better. Oh wait, in this room. No, this room. I did want to put a plushie as well. Like this one. There. Maybe there. Like so. Me. We'll totally pretend that that's not clipping. Okay, back to this room. Oh, I know what I want to put in here. Maybe like he likes to travel. And like I know he's a neat freak and stuff, but maybe we can put a gallery wall behind there. Aha, found it. So maybe he can have a gallery wall like that. And maybe we can find a few random paintings to put in there as well. Just to sort of bring it all together. This house currently, I would say it's a third of the way furnished. It already cost 649,000 simoleons. Leave it to land grabs to have the most expensive house ever. Maybe if we shrink this one, we can put like here, perhaps. I mean, honestly, kind of good for him that working for land grabs is make him able to travel all these different places. Because you bet the pay is good over there. Oh, nope. I do feel like we're missing something more here. But something more square. Which I don't think we'll find over here. Nope. Like maybe? Yeah, maybe we could try with this one. Or we put it here and we try to kind of leave place for his actual pictures that he takes. Yeah, that's fine. This is fine, right? No need for the cloud spacing. Okay. Now that's, I think, it's enough-ish. It does have a bookshelf. Oh, maybe I want to do like this candle. Okay, it does have a bookshelf, so I don't know what to put on the other one, so we're just gonna leave that empty. Oh yeah, no, wait, I wanted a little, like, golden statue of something over here. Little golden llama, perhaps. We can fit something else. Oh, it's the bunny of excellence. So, funny thing about this particular bunny is that you can get it in school as a sim for outstanding performance or something like that. Maybe not that. I feel like I do need like something more, something to put on the counter, not counter, wardrobe thingy. As to what, I have no idea. Maybe like some moisturizing things. Oh no, wait. Like perfumes. Duh. Like we can put some perfumes and skincare here, but there's this little tray with stuff. Ah, this one. We can just put that over here. It's not a lot, just something to clutter a little. And that brings us to the final room. Oh, that's too tall. This. Why is that too short? Interesting. Perhaps just like these. Maybe not these because that would be in the middle of the thing. That's too short. This is also a no, I think. Maybe like this, but I felt like there's a higher variant, a taller variant of that. Because these are pretty short. I guess there isn't. No, these ones are too tall. We really need more curtains in this game. We could do these potentially. Just in like white. Like that. Which means there's little room to do anything else. I think we're gonna leave like this room super simple for the main maid. Maybe she has like this one. And then in here we can give her like a basic table, not a table lamp, a basic lamp like that. I feel like she would be like a minimalist in a way. And then her bookshelf can be just like a few books over here. Do I even want to like make them fancy? No, I feel like this would be a little maybe much color. Perhaps like that. She likes her space mostly as it is, I think. We could put like a little chair in and a little plant. At least she would have like a proper chair, so something like that. And maybe we do give her a wall mirror over here, but a very simple one. Not like this. Aha, this one. The Morning Glory one. And that's for plant. We would do something simple like this, perhaps. And then also actually a small light over here, but one that matches this kinda. I'm pretty sure we have that. Okay, we have all these fancy ones, but okay, maybe we don't have that. Oh, perhaps like this. So she could read and stuff. Do you come... Oh. It doesn't come with this basic stand. So maybe we can make this into like this yellowish gold. There. They don't match perfectly, but kinda. They kinda match. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty okay. And maybe we just give her one painting. No, that's too much color. There, perfect. Okay. I feel like that's her room all sorted. So we have the rooms for the ones we made last time. And now we have to get on with the rest of the things here. We do have to like put some stuff in here. Has it already been 2.5 hours? I feel like we did nothing. We just like decorated a little bit of this. See what I mean by saying? Well, I guess it's been 2 hours because, you know, the disaster that struck. But yeah. We will need ages to decorate this. Oh, come on. mm. I guess we can start with their massive frigging kitchen. And I'm just wondering, can we fit this in the corner? Kinda. Oh, this one is like super fancy. I'm not sure if it's gonna be usable or if you'll be able to. Well, it's probably gonna be usable, but I'm not sure if you'll be able to enter through the door here. That's why we have two doors. hmm But also, I think on the other end, we're gonna put the fizzing station. In this one, perhaps. Now that you can definitely walk around. Hmm. Perhaps like that. I know it's a bit colorful, but meh. Okay, so how do we do this? I'm feeling like, okay, let me just save real quick. I'm feeling that I want to do the same counters as upstairs, but also perhaps not, because you know it's the staff room, staff quarters. So I don't know how well that would go. So perhaps we stick with something more fun colored. Like these basic ones. I never really use them because, okay, so this bit here is annoying to me. I know that a lot of counters have that, but it's just kind of annoying for the most part. We're gonna put the fridge on this side, so that's why we're gonna leave this like that. But this here is gonna get this. And I'm thinking we can maybe put the oven over here. Although it would probably make more sense for it to be over here somewhere. Oh, sorry. Although, wait. Because we could potentially do this. Yeah. So the kitchen downstairs won't really be usable that much. I mean, we can make it more usable. We can put an oven as well. Oh, like that. Oh wait, but then I have to unlock this. Ugh. What was the shortcut for that? Okay, I don't know why there's a space in there, but ignore gameplay unlocks entitlement. No, what am I doing? I'm sorry. I was about to take screenshots. Okay. Hey. So we unlocked these, which technically should match this. Technically. Do we just want to go? Nah, we're gonna go with silver and black. Oh, when did it get red and blue? And why didn't these get red and blue then? Okay. Maybe it always had red and blue. I just didn't use it because I can't match it with the other ones. That is also a very possible option. I'm thinking if I do this, I can just use this sink kind of over here. But I'm not yeah, because this is technically higher than this. So yeah. Perhaps we just do it like that. Let me just place everything in, then we'll figure out the rest. In the corner here, the fridge goes here. And then maybe I move this here. And we put in... Which stove was it again? This stove top? Nope. Nope, it definitely wasn't that. I was like 90% sure that you can unlock a stove from Culinary Courier. You can unlock these. Which, yeah, I guess, but this one could be close enough. But I hate it because, like, this one is like fancy electric one, and this one is the gas oven. I mean, technically, we could put this one, and but maybe we just don't. Maybe we just don't. We just use this one, and the kitchen upstairs is usable by everyone. And here we could just put like a little stove, you know. That could be cute. Like here. Although, oh, wait. We can also kinda just build in one of these gas burners. It's something to think about. Yeah, perhaps we'll leave it like that, and then we give them this trash can. I could give them the nano can, but meh. I think this one will be good enough over here. Oh, but we do unlock the fridge from Culinary Courier, so yay, I guess. Okay, so the kitchen is fully usable now with this top. Nej. I'm still mad at you. Šta si radila tamo? She hid, by the way, so I couldn't make her clean. Usually when she makes a mess, I take her paws and like she is putting the trash back into the bag. It's interesting how we don't get any like countertops from that. But this is like professional grade kitchen. And actually, I think we can also put it like here because we need to fill this space with something. Because even when we put these over here, it's still a lot of fucking space, you know? I think we're gonna opt out for the rounded corners here as well. So, like that. God, that's a massive kitchen. That is massive. I find it slightly annoying that these sinks don't really match. To the ones you would get from Culinary Courier. To the sorry, to the stuff that you get from Culinary Courier. So I think we'll just use this one. Now I know you're probably like, but Seb, this place looks so empty. Fear not. We have hanging bits that we can put up. We have this one that we unlock from the Culinary Courier. And I think these ones are bigger. Also, why is this hanging so low? Who uses this? Like, how is this usable? Okay, perhaps like because we need even higher floors for that. But nobody makes the floors that high. Yeah, I think we're gonna go for these ones. Just let me find the shorter version that's not too short. This one. Yeah. So yeah, some pots and pans to hang from here. Man, I never made like a kitchen like this, not even in like my restaurant build. It's massive. It's frigging massive. Holy heck. I don't think I'm gonna leave it as empty. I will fill stuff up. But first, I do need to go to the toilet. Let me just like tuck this in so I don't forget. Oh, and one thing that I will certainly forget if I don't put it now. Is the fire alarm. We can actually put the fire alarm over here. Like that. Tucked away in this corner. Are you clipping into the ceiling? You do not. That's good. Okay, I'm gonna save. And I will see you in just a little bit. Okay? No, wait, that's the wrong. That's the wrong one. There. I'll see you in a moment. Seriously, Kyle, it ain't even funny at this point anymore. Okay, I'm joking. It's hilarious. Hi, good morning. I'm doing okay. My anger on Tracer is, well, almost non existent anymore. She made a mess. She was upset that Blue went to work and I was asleep. So, yeah, it was a whole thing. And then she hid from me under the bed, so I couldn't make her clean. You know, I usually, like, when she pours the trash around the kitchen, usually I take her paws and we take a little bit by little and we're putting it back into the things. You know, she has to clean up her own mess, but no, I had to clean it this morning because she hid from me and I did not have an energy to lure her from under the bed. So I had like 30 minutes intro because I was late. I made a mistake, okay? Yesterday. I made a mistake. I joined the Minecraft server. And well, the plan was me and Blaine are gonna play a little bit of Minecraft, right? Because if we play Raft, it's a whole thing. We can't just like stop. But with Minecraft, you can stop whenever, right? Right? I stopped around 6 a.m. I went to sleep like around 6:30 a.m. Is insanity. But it really makes me want to reopen my server. I'll see. Yeah, I don't have a problem. The problem has me. I feel like the black ones aren't really black like this. So maybe I should put this into silver. At least like it matches a little better. I know you wake up ridiculous hours. That's different. But yeah, so I went to sleep around 6:30. A whole thing, I tell you, a whole thing. But I had fun. I built the bits of my first base. You know, the beginner base. Totally not a massive fucking house that I plan to add a lighthouse on top of. Not gonna lie to you, I'm probably gonna go back on the server once after, well, I finish this stream. Just for a little bit. Well, yeah, okay, so it's the... I planned the house around the lighthouse part. I built the first floor. It's not decorated yet, obviously. I need to, like... I need to do stuff. I need to find iron. I didn't even find iron, okay? But I do have, like, the base of my storage area. To be fair, it was more like 5 hours, 4.5, 5 hours. So it wasn't that long. And I spent the first 2 hours dying. So Blaine was like, so he's showing me around, everything's fine, nice, and he's telling me how he died to this how he has like a trauma response on the sounds of the drowned, because he got like one shot by a drowned with a trident once. But he also like along that brags like, oh, he haha, I died to drown, but he didn't die on this server yet. So oh my god. When I tell you, so he sees well, he starts getting attacked by drowned with the trident. And I'm like, with my stone sword, mind you, with my stone sword, with no armor, I'm like, wait, I'm gonna take care of that for you. And I go. And I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for a random drown that showed up behind me and killed me. So I'm like, okay. But the fact that I went for this drown with trident gave Blaine a false sense of confidence, so he went for it. And then we just kept dying over and over again by trying to get our stuff. And in the end, like, we just gave up. We were like, you know what? It's not important. We picked up some of the stuff. It's not important. We're just gonna leave it there. We're getting as far away from the trident as we can. It was hilarious. I loved it. Mhm. And Minecraft with people is always so much fun. I mean, even without people, it's fun. But I don't know. With people, it's something else. And I had a blast. I had a blast. But then Blaine left me, and okay, my cue should have been like when Blaine was like, "Oh yeah, we said short session, so I'm gonna pop off now." I'm like, I didn't check the clock. I should have checked the clock then because it was probably like 3 or 4 a.m. Right? But I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just stay a little bit here, you know, and just finish some stuff, and then I'm gonna log off. Like, it didn't even occur to me to check the fucking time because if Blaine is logging off because he needs to get back to work, that means we did pass the 2 hour mark. And but no, I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna like finish some stuffs here. And then it was 6 a.m. Um, I was just chilling, building. I'll blame it on Xanax, okay? Because I have to take calming pills before sleep and before like I start the day. So like I was just calm. I was just vibing, you know. I wasn't even sleeping. Sleeping. I wasn't even sleepy until I fucking was. Okay. Because around 6 a.m. I just felt so sleepy, and I hear Blue's alarm go off, and I'm like, oh, oh, I did a bad thing. Because her alarm goes off at 6 a.m. because she has to go to work. It is so much fun. I had an itch lately, and this definitely is scratching it. Yeah. Like, honestly, okay, honestly, if I didn't hear her alarm, I wouldn't even realize. I was getting tired. Like, I realized I was getting tired and I was gonna pop off anyway. But it was just like, oh, let me just finish this. Oh, let me just do this. Oh, I'm just gonna do this real quick. And those little things pile on. And yeah. Yeah. The oh moment was, but not yet. Like after first alarm, it was I've done a bad thing. Okay, let me just finish this real quick, and then her second alarm goes off, and like, okay, I get it. I'm letting you to go. I'm done. Then I logged off and just sat in front of my PC for 5 minutes. Because like I want to go back, but I shouldn't. I need to go to sleep. Sleep mindset, please. I need to go to sleep mindset. Which eventually came. Also, surprisingly, I fell asleep like almost immediately when I lie down in bed. Like I touched that pillow and I was like out. I was out cold. I did wake up on my alarm at 10 a.m. for the stream, and I was planning to get up. Like, yeah, I still felt a little bit groggy, and I'm like, I'm gonna get up. Nope, I just fell back asleep. Yeah. I mean, I don't even blame you, you know? Because Minecraft, dude. I am planning, okay, I am planning on, well, re-releasing the server. Like, that was the plan even before I got the craving, but the plan was to do it like either during the summer or after the summer when my schedule is a bit more open. Because I will have a lot of breaks this year. Because I need to go back to Croatia for a month to extend my ID. I have to go there around summer, like in June. June is the 6 month, right? Yeah, I think. To enroll Lucy to high school. It's a whole thing. Because yeah, she wants to go to school there. Yeah, yeah. She wants to go to school there, so I have to enroll her because her dad is currently in unavailable. Let's just say. I don't want to like share too much. Stream. I can tell you in DMs. But yeah. So it's a whole thing, parenting from like literally a different country. Let me tell you, it's a whole thing. Yeah, I hope so too. I mean, maybe she changed her mind because okay, she wants to do animation, right? She wants to go to animation school. And the thing with that is that in Croatia there's no such thing as animation school, basically. Is that all correct? No, it's not. It has to be. Yeah, okay, that's correct. But there is, but she also doesn't want to leave her friends behind, right? Because her friends are going to the same city to the school, so she kind of wants to join them. So again, a whole thing, because in France she can go to like just animation school, but in Croatia she would go to. Oh wait, the darker ones or the lighter ones? The lighter ones, perhaps. In Croatia, she would go to kind of the same school I finished in the end, which is for media technician, or technician for media, I guess. And then from that, she would take 1 year animation study, and then she could enroll college for it, which is it's kind of complicated. While in here, she would do 3 years, I think, art school, art and animation, which then she could like, after 3 years, she could get specific like, damn it, sorry, specific benefits. So yeah. Like here, she would literally get paid to go to school at some point. Which, you know, it's a neat thing. It's a neat thing for sure. I don't think that's the right color. Oh no, wait. It does seem right color when I hover over it. Interesting. So it is the right color. It just doesn't look like the right color. Man, the lights in this game are pissing me off sometimes. Yeah, pros and cons for both, for sure. Maybe I don't want shelves here at all. On the second thought. Maybe we just leave like a clean kitchen. So yeah, basically over the weekend I will hop on a call with her and see what she settled on. Maybe this one actually isn't bad. But maybe it's not great either. Yeah, maybe we could do this after all. Sorry, me just switching between my brain process and but then I'm not sure like I want the thing there. So maybe I just stop it here with one of these big ones. Oh, but then damn it. But then I have to remove the lower one. Oh, but then this see, that's also not great because this fridge is then too high to make it like this. Unless, hear me out. We put this thingy on top. So we kind of match the cabinets with that. Yeah, that can work, right? And then to round it out, we can do this as well. Because this one does kind of poke out more. Okay, yeah, I'm not mad at this. Yeah. She's 15. Like, she's gonna be 16 this year. It's insane. Insane. The time passage is so weird. So weird, man. Yeah, I think this isn't bad. And it gives us some much needed clutter. She's being like very responsible, which I'm so fucking proud of her. Because I know I wouldn't when I was her age. When I was her age, I was unhinged. Okay, I was unhinged. Like, she's 15. When I was 17, I had her. So, like, you know. But she's being, like, super responsible. I mean, I guess she has to, considering the current circumstances, but I don't know. I'm really proud of both of us. I raised her fucking well. I don't know. So proud. The words can't describe how proud of her I am. If I do just like shelves like this, what do we think of that? No, because they don't match. I really want to put in some shelves. Oh, wait, wait, wait. I know which shelves to put. Uh-huh. Yes. Yes. These. Like little metal ones. Although maybe I can align them. So we hide that. And we kind of make it like so. My hand is too shaky. There. But that's, then a bit of this one shows. Maybe we can have a bit of both of them show. Maybe that's a possibility. Like that. Yeah. I can do shelves after all. Yeah, because like I don't know. Okay, so we've been apart for 3 years now, right? And the fact that I don't know, everything I taught her sticks with her and she follows it and she's able to take care of herself so well. I'm amazed by that. Like, I wish she wouldn't have to. I wish I could take care of her, but we all know why I can't. And for those who don't, that doesn't matter. It's a long story. But it's like, basically, she's been raising herself for the past 3 years, with just like a little chime for me here and there. And yeah, like her dad was existing. Her grandparents definitely helped. I think most of who helped her was her uncle lately because he's literally with her all the time. But also, like, he's just her uncle. So when it comes to like food and like general stuff, it's all her. And the fact that she went from, well, I wouldn't say spoiled, but I did everything for her, right? So the fact that she went from that to this in such a short period of time, it's heartbreaking and amazing at the same time. Again, so fucking proud of her. But I rambled too much and I'm making myself sad. So we're just gonna focus on this kitchen. Because I do miss her a lot. I'm like, sure, like if she decides that yes, she wants to go to Croatia to school, which seems very likely at this point. I mean, I have to respect that decision, you know. I want her to be comfortable, well, as comfortable as she can with everything. And you know, it's also the matter of we have to sort our lives before we can completely like usurp hers. She still wants to come live to France, so that's good. It's just gonna take a little bit um, for everything to be uh, I don't even know. But anyway, blah stuff. Let's not make ourselves sad. We're gonna focus on this, and yeah. I kind of want to give her a call today, but I can't because school and stuff. So yeah, we're gonna talk over a weekend about her big decision, where she wants to go. So I'll have more updates then. I kind of feel like we have to put something on this wall. Like, it's so freaking empty. This is all fine. Like, sure, we can put some more spices and stuff, but we don't have to. Oh, here maybe we want to have like a little coffee station. And perhaps we want to, well, maybe just a little coffee station. And we can pretend it's tea station as well, because we have two of the kettles upstairs already. However, maybe we want to do like a beverage tray here. I hope they can access it. I think they can. And let's figure out what we put on this wall. Because the emptiness is gnawing at me. I think I probably want to put one of these here. Ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba-dum. I'm searching for a specific thing. Well, a specific few things. More so. Oh, this is kind of cute. We can put it here. Just because. Oh, maybe we want like a fire extinguisher somewhere. Oh, we probably don't want to put it in here, actually. This is gonna be our laundry room, but we can have a fire extinguisher there. You know, for all those lint fires that's gonna happen. We could put this shelf over here. Maybe like more like that. With actual cooking utensils. Perhaps the olive oil goes here. Aha, found it. We could do it in white, but we can also do it in black. Oh, no, we should do it in white or gray. White. Like that. Not that they really need it, but and then they can have their spices. Perhaps over here. I'm unsure if I want to put them over here because, well, there's a stove over here as well. Maybe we don't. Yeah, maybe we don't put spices on. I definitely want to put some of these somewhere. Would that be too much? Perhaps not. Perhaps it's just right over here. We do have some cooking pans over here, but having more in the house this size, I think that's fine. No, Tracer, I'm not speaking to you. These shadows are kind of weird over here. Why? That's interesting. I don't think I ever had this problem with these shadows. Yeah, because if I put it here, it seems... Yeah, if I put it here, it seems fine. I guess it's just the wall, so they're more noticeable. Interesting. Okay, we're not going to do that then. Maybe like this little shelf, just to elevate the space a little. I am so mad at you, you know? Don't look at me like that. How could I block him? No. You can give me as many puppy eyes as you want. She just goes back into the bathroom. Oh god. There must be something else we can put in here that looks fairly kitcheny, but not too out of place. Okay, this looks very kitcheny, but very out of place. Nope. Oh, maybe like a little coffee shelf. Yeah, that could work, right? But maybe I line it a little better with this one. Like that. And I think there's another coffee shelf, if I recall. Aha. I do recall. I'm not sure if that one fits as well as this one, but fuck it. We're rolling with that. Mm, maybe like one of these. We can pretend it's like a staff board thingy with the chores and stuff, even though it's actually for parenthood, for kids' chores. But I think that can work. I think we can call this kitchen more or less done. Maybe we need some more like miscellaneous decorations around. Like, maybe some snacks. Like tucked away in the corner there. What else could we put in? Oh, maybe the veggie basket can go in here. And yes, I do have 2 sinks. One can never have enough sinks. I can only imagine the confusion of the Sims living here. Yeah, I think I'll have to do like these rooms with this toilet and this bathrooms, and then these rooms, well, these and these with this toilet and this bathroom. Okay, I think that's gonna be something we're gonna do at the end, like at the very end of the build. Mm-hmm. I think here I'm gonna put in these lockers. Part of me wants to kind of squish them like that, but we don't have like a singular locker that we can fit in between. Oh wait, that's interesting. This is just that. I'm pretty sure there's a 2 locker thing. Oh, but I think those are functional, so they would be in the storage. I'm pretty sure. Or they would not be. So these are completely different. Huh. So if we go back in here and just filter it by high school years. Aha. Haha. Oh, there's also the 2 one. There we go. Also, I don't know why would they want to have locks on them. That does not seem like a necessity. Okay, let's actually go with these basic ones. It's just like random storage lockers. It's fine. For random things. I don't even know what they would put in here. But this is gonna be a laundry room. So something laundry related? Question mark? Okay. And I think since big family, 2 washing machines. Well, it's not big family, big house, 2 washing machines. And 2 dryers. There. Yeah, that would be that would have to be joint washing room. I think they would go with these ones probably. I think we can have one here, but there is like a lot of like non-functional things that we can put in, like this. So something like that. Part of me wants to put this whole thing, but I think I'm just gonna go with this. And we can put that... Well, we can put that on the wall here, sort of. Maybe we put two of them. Like that. I'm just trying to squeeze in like a bunch of sort of laundry related things. Laundry, but we can also like put our vacuums in here and stuff. I think that could be good. Okay, there's like a bucket somewhere. I'm probably... Yeah, there we go. The bucket. We can go here and then we can put... I guess this over here. Maybe we change walls. Maybe you two go here and you go over here. Okay. And then the cleaning supplies can sort of go here. And well, I'm absolutely certain they would have automated vacuums all over. I think for this particular place, we'd go with the other ones. And I kind of want to put this, but they only have like these things under. So it doesn't really fit with the modernish type style we're going with. But we could potentially we could do some just shelves and then put stuff on them, make them, you know, like we could probably go with these shelves as well, like I think we're gonna have to align them manually. Because these shelves can fit practically anything. Yeah. And then like we can put some random towels on them. Yeah, I think my inspiration for that's where it stops. You can do one of these. And I really went and said like, yeah, I can do this, and then blanks. Literally drawing blanks. Wait, there should be... Oh, I guess it's not here. Yeah, it does. Oh no, it is here. Haha. Maybe we go with the red one. Oh, maybe we don't. Well, we can put one here. But we can like make a little stack of them up here. Like that. And like the backup ones, you know? Don't you want me like I want you, baby? Don't you need me like I need you now? Oh my God, you just meet me now. Maybe we want like this, but the long one. Do we have... We have something. I don't think this is necessarily what we want, but maybe we can put that. You know, for our clothes folding purposes and stuff. Okay, it's starting to look like a proper laundry room. Oh, also. Wait. We can put like these. Now, I know what you want to say, but those are clothing racks. But yes, have you ever worked in a... what's it called? Like, in the cleaners place. The chemical cleaners and stuff. Because I did. And we had lots of racks like this to sort out clothes. So I'm feeling like a rich household like this, they would probably have similar thing going on. Okay. I don't think I want to do like much else with this. The part of me thinks we can definitely squeeze in this somewhere. Maybe that's what occupies lots of this bedroom. Uh-huh. Maybe one corner of this bedroom could be this frigging safe. Can I close that though? I don't think I can necessarily. Because, like, even if I would put it like this. Oh god, this is so laggy. Man, this is getting so laggy. Yeah, even if I would put it like this. So it would have to be just a safe. Okay, maybe not in the bedroom. Maybe. Okay. Jeffrey's office is just the safe. Okay, no, never mind. We're not gonna put a safe in their house. However, we are gonna save. And I think this is where we're gonna leave it off because I've been live for 4 hours already, which is an hour more than I planned on. But I did start late, so yeah. I will see you later with I want to say Life is Strange for some reason. So I'm not gonna see you with Life is Strange. That's not happening. Not this year. Tracer, please. Ne. Está cerrado, Latamo. Okay. Anyway, let me read out. Where do I read out? We can go say hi to the Goblin Burrows. We like gobos. And yeah, let's go say hi to this adorable little gobo. And I shall see you all tonight. I already said that, actually. But yes, as always, guys, stay excellent. Until next time, I guess. It is. And next time is in a couple of hours with more Tomb Raider Legend, which actually means that I probably have to go replay stuff real quick instead of doing the thing. Oh god. Okay. I'll try to figure this out. In the meantime, stay excellent. Bye.